What's going on, guys? I'm your host from the East Coast, GM94, here to bring you guys my WWE Smackdown Live review for January 17th, 2017. Now, this episode of Smackdown Live emulated from Memphis, Tennessee, home of Jerry the King Lawler, who had a segment here tonight on Smackdown Live, which we'll get into in a bit because I really enjoyed what they did and how they utilized King. They brought back something from like 4 years ago, and it really was just a great idea, and it played into what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler. So let's get into it. It had been rumored all day that Shane O'Mac was going to kick off SmackDown Live with a announcement regarding the Royal Rumble match. So he came out. It kicked off with Shane O'Mac. Huge pop. They love him in Memphis. He was actually, it looked like he was a little bit overwhelmed. He didn't expect that big of a pop from them. They showed him some love. They showed some love to Shane O'Mac. And, he gets in. He talks about the importance of the Royal Rumble match and the ramifications of it. The winner gets to face the WWE Champion at WrestleMania in the main event. But before they can get to WrestleMania, the WWE Champion, whether it be John Cena or AJ Styles, will have a roadblock on the way to WrestleMania. He will have to go through something that is not just a regular type of match. They'll have to go through the Elimination Chamber match and defend their title against 5 other superstars in the Elimination Chamber. A structure that is not very kind to careers in the WWE, as we have seen before. That'll be, I believe it'll be 4 weeks. I think the Royal Rumble's in 2 weeks, and then the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view will be in 4 weeks or something like that. So then AJ Styles comes out. He's upset that after he beats up John Cena, he has to defend his title in the Chamber match. Shane tells him, yes, if he's still WWE Champion at that time, and if Cena doesn't become a 16-time World Champion, he'll have to defend his title inside Elimination Chamber. AJ says over his dead body that Cena will beat him at the Rumble, and maybe they should consider the champ and how he feels about the match before they go around making stupid decisions. Shane says that he is running SmackDown Live and that he and Daniel Bryan came up with the idea for the match, and that's the only person he consulted because, they're the powers that be. And they want, people to get the best opportunity to win the title, the best opportunity for the champion to shine in a match like that, and the best opportunity to give the fans a hell of a pay-per-view. But AJ was still pissed. He wasn't having it. Shane says that AJ is one of the best in the WWE, if not the best, and what he's done in 1 year's time is nothing short of phenomenal, pun intended, except for his attitude. AJ says that he's never been in an Elimination Chamber match and he was just campaigning for it to not happen. That's when John Cena comes out. And right as John Cena was about to say something, AJ completely shut him down. He was like, no, you don't get to talk. Just shut up. You don't get to say nothing. When your brother-in-law grants you championship matches, you don't get to say anything. So just stand there and be quiet. I'm just like, dang, he is not letting Cena get his stuff in. He does not want Cena to talk at all. Then he says, him fighting in the chamber is stupid, especially right after the Royal Rumble. And that's when The Miz comes out. The Miz says that, AJ's spotlight is stolen. And once he gets his rematch with Dean, he'll take the IC title back. And either he'll win the Royal Rumble or he'll win the title at Elimination Chamber. And he kind of hinted that he was going to be in the match. But pretty much what he's going to do is that he's going to make each title more elevated than they've ever been before. He's going to be a double champion pretty much. AJ says that, he does a good job hiding behind his wife, and the best thing he can do for his career is to keep doing that. It was pretty funny that The Miz went off. The Miz just don't care. He is like a ticking time bomb. You say the wrong thing to him, he's just going to explode on you. So that's when The Miz was just like, while AJ was in Japan being America's next top soccer mom, I popped for that. That was hilarious. Then he started to go on this rant about, how he's elevated the title and he made beating up John Cena cool before it was even cool. And he made all the titles that he's ever had important. John Cena was instigating behind AJ like, ooh, Why, you gonna let him talk to you like that? Like, ooh, you know, he's just being John Cena. And The Miz said he was better than him. John was like, ooh, you gonna let him talk to you like that? He just said he's better than you. You gonna let him talk to you like that? And then AJ was like, last time they were in Memphis, he knocked his tooth out. And he should be talking with a lisp, or does he, Maurice? And then John Cena went behind The Miz like, dude, you're not going to let him talk to you and your wife like that, are you? Step up, bro. And I'm just dying because AJ and The Miz are just so serious, and Cena is just having a good old time with this. He is not taking it serious at all. He's instigating. He knows they wants to fight. He's just helping them along. And then, you know, they started to go after each other, but Shane pulled them apart and was like, no, we're just going to make a match so that either one of you can prove that you're better than the other. So before the match could happen, Shane was, you know, walking backstage, and Dean says he needed a new title because it smelled like The Miz, and it just smelled bad. It was sticky or whatever. Shane was like, I'm sorry, that's the only belt you have. There's nothing I can do about that. So the Intercontinental Championship will not be changing, at least right now. And then the second thing Dean wanted, said he wanted to face Randy Orton from the Wyatt family because they attacked him a month ago. And I had to think about it. I'm like, oh, right. When he had the match with Luke Harper and he won, they attacked him after the match. He got hit with an RKO. So Dean obviously still feels some type of way about it. And Shane granted him the match against Randy Orton. So he said that's fine. And that's when we got The Miz versus AJ Styles. We had John Cena on commentary. Two of the best workers, if not only on SmackDown Live, but in the WWE as a whole, finally get a chance to face off again. I think the last time they faced off in a match was in Memphis when AJ knocked his tooth out, and that was before the brand split. AJ had The Miz's number early on in the match until Maurice got involved on the apron with AJ on the apron, and The Miz was able to kick him off, and he was distracted long enough for The Miz to take the advantage. Miz still doing his whole Daniel Bryan impersonation gimmick, and you know, AJ pretty much stopped the momentum that he had from that and went for the Styles Clash. It got countered. Miz tried to hit the skull crushing finale, didn't happen. Went back and forth for a little bit. The Miz, you know, as the ref was trying to pull them apart, he poked AJ in the eye with his thumb. I think AJ's getting close to a face turn. It's not gonna happen just yet, but he was definitely the one that the crowd wanted to win this match. The Miz was I guess you could say, more of a heel than AJ was, even though they were both heels. But AJ definitely worked face. So that happened. Miz couldn't get the win off of that. They spilled to the outside, right by the commentary table, and I think one of them got pushed into Cena. Cena got up, threw Miz into the barricade, started fighting with AJ Styles. Somehow, you know, Cena got into the ring. The Miz got in. As AJ was like walking away, Miz went for the skull crushing finale. Cena countered it. AA, as he's, you know, taunting to the Miz. He turns around. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm. Cena ducks him. AA, and holds up the title. So he hit them both with an attitude adjustment and then holds up the title. I don't know, man. I don't know. Cena might not win at the Rumble. I don't know. I'm thinking that he might. I haven't completely thought it out just yet, but I don't know. The way it's looking, I don't know if it's gonna happen. So yeah, after that was pretty cool. After that, we get Nikki Bella calling out Natalya. Last week they were supposed to have a match, but Natalya attacked her from behind. So Nikki Bella went out to call out Natty so they could get it popping on once again. But instead, Natty was in the crowd area and told Nikki Bella to look at the Titantron. Nikki was like, what are you doing? Just come down here so we can fight. So Natty goes up the stairs into, you know, the little, it's not even the backstage area, just the area where the crowd comes into the arena at. And she was right there by a merchandise table. So, you know, she was over there. She was just, you know, talking to the person who was running the table, like, where's the Nikki Bella merch? He was like, it's right here. And she was like, oh, it's conveniently placed right next to the John Cena merch. How nice. And then she was like, oh, look, you even have my former uncle Bret Hart's merchandise there, too. And then she, you know, starts grabbing all the merchandise, the Cena shirts, the Nikki Bella shirts, and everything. She was just like, if I don't have any merchandise, then neither will they. And I'm tired of this. She was like, Nikki Bella and my Uncle Brett are gonna die alone. So I'm taking away all their merchandise. I don't have any, so screw them. And she goes and she starts throwing away shirts and stuff. I'm just like, those are just some perfectly good shirts. Why you throwing them away, Natty? Come on, man. Why you doing that? But Nikki Bella, little did Natty know, was following her. So as soon as she got to the top of where she was supposed to be at, she immediately speared her. And she speared her so hard that they like elevated a little bit because she was right next to a table. Like the table she had next to her, she was just throwing the shirts away from off of. And then, when Nikki Bella popped up, Natty looked, she was like, oh snap. And Nikki Bella ran straight at her. They kind of elevated a little bit and fell through the table. I don't even know if that was supposed to happen, but if it was executed perfectly. They started brawling, and then they had, the security breaking them apart, but they were still going at it, still getting a few licks in, and they had the crowd in the background going crazy. They were recording it. It was just a different scenery, which was something I appreciated. It wasn't just the same old, either backstage or right by the ringside. They changed it up a little bit, something I appreciate. SmackDown Live is very innovative in that manner, that they'll change things up once in a while, so they're not doing the same thing over and over and over again. So that's pretty cool. I enjoyed the segment, and another thing I love about SmackDown Live is how they make their women feel important, which is perfect, because Raw just seems to not want to do that. They're ruining people. They're ruining Sasha Banks. They're ruining Bayley. I don't even want to get into a Raw rant right now. I'll talk about that at a later time. Obviously, I didn't do a Raw review last night because the show was just not enjoyable to watch at all. So we'll talk about Raw at a later time. But right now, we're talking about SmackDown. This excellent show. So after that happened and they got them pulled apart and separated or whatever, Alexa Bliss was asked if she was scared of Becky Lynch in the steel cage match tonight. Alexa says she's not afraid of Becky. She wasn't afraid in the tables match they had, and she isn't afraid now. And if she has to prove to the human Chucky doll that she's the best, she'll have to do it inside the steel cage. Nice little promo. Short, sweet, to the point. And they put him in the main event, which was lovely. So, we had that built up, and we had that to look forward to. Something to look forward to. After that, we got the Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton match. Like I said earlier, Dean was pissed from last month after he beat Luke Harper. The Wyatt family attacked him. Randy Orton hit him with an RKO. So, Dean wanted to fight. Dean was hesitant, though, and rightfully so, because of what happened last time. The Wyatt family was still outside the ring, just like they were for the Luke Harper match. But commentary did a good job putting over the fact that Dean doesn't recognize fear. He just does things. And that helps build his character up, that they recognize that this might not be the ideal match for anybody, to call out somebody from the Wyatt family knowing that they're going to be at a disadvantage to start off. But just the fact that Dean is the lunatic, he doesn't care, and he's going to go after you no matter what or who is behind you, is just something that's great, considering he came from the Shield, who weren't afraid of anybody. So they're just continuing that, which I thought was great from a continuity standpoint. And they do a good job of that on SmackDown. Like, why is it that hard on Raw to do that? And I keep going back to it. I said I'm not going to talk about it, but come on. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. You have 30 writers and can't come up with anything good? Doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, let's get back to the match. Commentary put him over. Said that he doesn't recognize fear. He just does things, and he's just crazy. This was a good match, though. The slow and methodical style of Orton picking apart Dean, and you had the lunatic who just keeps going and going and going and going and going, doesn't care. Pretty much will destroy himself to destroy you. They had a great match. They went back and forth for the majority of the match. Both got some good offense in. Both did some good selling. They fought on outside the ring, inside the ring, right by Bray and Luke Harper, who I thought was just going to destroy Dean in the match end. But that's not exactly what happened. Bray, for the whole match, was calling for Randy Orton to end the match. End it. It's over. It's done. And Randy wasn't really listening to him like he should have been. And that's when Dean, while Randy was recovering, hit a suicide dive right by the announce table. But Randy was pushed out of the way by Luke Harper, who took the bump for him. So, Randy got back inside the ring, and so did Dean, and then Orton started to take over. Bray was like, no, end it right now. It's done. End the match. So that's when Orton finally listened, started to set up for the RKO, but he couldn't hit it because Luke Harper got into the ring and went right at Dean Ambrose. But before he could get Orton disqualified, Orton was like, dude, what are you doing? I got this. Get out of the ring. Bray was yelling at him, dude, get out of the ring. Get out. The match is over. He got this. Just leave it alone. We got it after the match. Luke Harper was like, okay, all right, I'm gone. And then that gave Dean Ambrose enough time to recover and to roll up Randy Orton as he was tending to getting Luke Harper out of the ring. And Dean Ambrose steals the match. So once again, Randy Orton is screwed over in a match because Luke Harper interfered. And you could just tell they just keep on building and building and building, and it's just going to explode. And it kind of exploded a little bit. Little fuse went off a little bit. Randy pretty much was looking at Luke Harper like, dude, you keep costing me these matches. They got into the ring. Bray was trying to hold them both back from each other. They started to hit each other a little bit. Bray separated them. He said, this is a childish game we're doing. Like, this is a fool's game. You don't got to do all of this. And then, he pulled them apart, told them to stop. And then Luke Harper just kept going. Bray punched him in the mouth. He was like, dude, I just told you, stop. We're not doing this. Luke Harper looked at him like, damn, Bray, why you have to punch me like that, bro? I got it, bro. Come on, man. You ain't have to hit me like that. And then, Luke Harper was just like, this is all his fault. He's doing this. Luke Harper is smart. Ever since Randy Orton joined the Wyatt family, Luke Harper hasn't been too keen on him. He knows what Randy Orton was trying to do, but he just went along with it just for the sake of being in the Wyatt family. But he's just trying to petition to Bray that, hey, Randy knows what he's doing. And Randy was just over there smirking, and Bray was ready to post up with him too. He was like, come on, do something. Do something. Randy was like, hey, bro, you got the juice. I ain't doing nothing. Nah, you good. I'm good. I'm chill. He was sitting there. He was laughing a little bit because Randy knows what he's doing, and the turn is coming. He's gonna eventually just turn on both of them, and he's doing it from the inside out. We all know it's coming. I'm thinking if they need to do it right before the Royal Rumble, or at least during the Rumble, but this needs to end pretty soon. Because we need to get a match between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. I combined their names. We need to get that match. And it's going to be a good match once it happens again. Because of how this storyline has been going. After that, we get Becky Lynch with another quick promo about the steel cage match from her perspective. She says she's never run from a fight. And she knows exactly who she is. So she knows that Alexa runs from fights. So she knows how she is. But Alexa can't run tonight. So they'll see what she'll be tonight, and it won't be champion. Another quick promo, short, sweet, to the point. No complaints about that. Then we get, as I mentioned in the very beginning of the review, the King's Court with guest Dolph Ziggler. And I don't know why I didn't see this set up from the beginning. Because they've been slowly, transitioning Dolph Ziggler into a heel. I believe he's full-blown now. Especially after this segment. If it wasn't evident by now, it should be now. So we had Dolph Ziggler who's changed his whole attitude up. Doesn't give a damn about anybody or their feelings. We had King come out, introduce Dolph. Dolph comes out. Doesn't say a word. He says absolutely nothing. King says he knows Dolph is a good person. He's known him for years, and he just wants to know, what's going on. His goodness is starting to fade away like the bleach is in his hair. So what's the deal? Dolph just looks at him, smirks a little bit, and then just doesn't say anything. Just goes back to looking directly at him, just not saying nothing. So then he says, this new attitude has him thinking that it will change things about his career, but it's not, because he's heading down the wrong path and he's still losing matches just like he did before, just like he did to Kalisto last week. So he's just, heating up Dolph Ziggler a little bit more, trying to poke at him and prod, but Dolph still says nothing. So then after that, he was like, all right, I just want to show you this clip of what happened. He rolls the clip. Dolph didn't say anything. I don't even think he looked at the clip of him destroying Kalisto and Apollo Crews with a steel chair last week. Nothing was said. And he was just still staring at the King. So King, stops and asks him to talk. He's just like, dude, don't because Dolph went to walk away. He was just like, I'm done with this. I'm gone. Still hadn't said nothing. Dolph goes to walk away. King was like, stop, Dolph, please. Just, can you talk to me? Like, come on. Come on, we're good. We're cool. So then Dolph finally says something. He was like, King, I know your agenda. You're coming out here. You're trying to embarrass me in front of your friends and family because we're in Memphis. And you want me to play along with this little game. And that's why you showed the footage and everything. That's why you keep trying to make me mad. And then he was like, that's why I brought some footage for myself. I'm like, okay, what footage did he bring? And then it clicked. As soon as the clip played, it was from Raw back in 2012, where Dolph Ziggler had a match with King. When King was still on the Raw announce team. I forgot the whole story of why they had the match. They had the match. And Ziggler repeatedly hit that elbow drop on King's chest about 10 to 15 times in a row. And that was the night where Jerry the King Lawler had the heart attack and partially died a little bit. But was able to come back to life. One of the best calls by Michael Cole in his whole career in WWE. I still have tremendous respect for him because of that night and how he handled it like a professional. But yeah, Dolph rolled the clip and Dolph was just like, you know what that clip is. You had a heart attack after our match that night because of me. I know you blame me for that, and you should. I accept that blame. But if you don't stop asking me with these questions, I'm going to finish what I started. And I'm just like, oh, let's go. This is awesome. Dolph is a badass. He was about to kill. He just said he was going to kill this man if you don't stop asking me questions. And then King was like, that's too bad because I have one more question. He said, no matter how hard you try, how does it feel that you'll always be a loser? And then Dolph looked at him. He smiled. He was like, all right, I see what you did there. All right, that's a nice little shot you took at me. And then he super kicked him in the chest and walked away, walked out of the ring. And then this man, JBL, if I somehow have the short little clip of this man, JBL, this man hops up from the announce desk to run into the ring to check on Jerry Lawler. And this man completely slips and falls. Oh my God, it was such an epic fail. Twitter blew up. It was so hilarious. I guess he tripped over a cord or something and just fell down. But he got in the ring to check on Jerry and make sure he was all right. Because like Dolph said, he was going to finish what he started and kicked him right in the chest, right where Jerry had a heart attack before. And then as Dolph was walking up the ramp, Jerry yelling at him after he got up, Dolph, if you got any guts, get back into this ring. And then Dolph just completely walked away. Didn't turn around at all, just walked away. And that was exactly how they should have booked him. And I think he should have some new theme music as well. I love the theme song that he has, but it's definitely too upbeat for him at this moment. I think just like what they did with Neville, because Neville turned heel, I think they should, at least, if not completely change it, just mix it up a little bit so that it doesn't sound, so much like a babyface theme. They should definitely change up some parts about that. But, yeah, so Dolph just completely excellent in this segment. King, trying to get a reaction out of him, and he got just that and almost died again. And JBL slipped and fell. So, wonderful segment here. We all enjoyed that. We all got a good laugh out of that. And then, before we could get to the main event of the night, the steel cage match, we had Bray pop up in his little, vignette, backstage, smoky gimmick that he always does or whatever. Says he's entering the Royal Rumble, but something must be attended to before that. Randy will face Luke Harper next week. One will rise and one will fall, but the Wyatt family will be stronger afterwards. So I'm guessing Bray is tired of this. He's going to have two brothers duke it out. They'll get their problems solved, and they'll be back to normal after that is over. So that'll be a good match next week. Finally, Randy's going to face off against Luke Harper like he wants to. And I'm thinking maybe then is where he turns on Bray Wyatt, but I'm not completely sure yet. We'll see. And that's when we get the main event. We get Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss for the WWE Women's Championship inside of a steel cage. At the main event. The main event. We got women in the main event once again. Awesome. definitely awesome. Definitely good for the women's division. Raw had been doing that, putting the women in the main event. I think they even ended the pay-per-view once or twice. And now SmackDown Live is having their women in the main event and any specialty type matches because they don't care anymore. The women want to be in these matches and they're going to put them in there. So we had a pretty good match here. It didn't go long, maybe about 10-15 minutes. But I'm glad it was in the main event. Putting them in the spot to have the chance to prove that they deserve it is just excellent for the women's division. And this was a straight up fight. These two really wanted to end each other, not just win the match. They wanted to kill each other. They used the cage to their advantage. They were climbing up the ropes, trying to escape it from up top and throwing each other off and just doing all types of maneuvers to kill each other. I think Becky even hit a Bexploder from the top rope or something, which was just crazy. And, as the match started to reach its close, guess who pops back up? La Luchadora. There was something different about her this time, though. She still interfered in the match. She got into the ring as Becky had put Alexa in the disarmer, and she kicked Becky in the face. I'm like, okay, we're still doing this, but if you notice, like, the past few weeks, the La Luchadora character hadn't really looked like they knew what they were doing. But this time, they knew exactly what they were doing. And that's when I immediately knew. I put it on Twitter. I'm like, that's Mickie James. Mickie James is going to be on SmackDown Live. That's her. That's her right now. She's there. And, Becky started to fight back because after Alexa got the pin and retained her title, they started to attack her. So they started attacking Becky. She started to fight back. She got Alexa Bliss out of the way. And then, she got her hands on La Luchadora and took the mask off. And that's when Mickie James was exposed as being La Luchadora, thus starting a new storyline with Becky Lynch. And her and Alexa Bliss attacked Becky once again. And, so I don't know if Mickie James is going to be, alongside Alexa Bliss, or she was just using Alexa Bliss to get to Becky Lynch. But Mickie James is on SmackDown, and she's a heel. I'm assuming, based off of what happened, I'm assuming she's a heel. The crowd didn't pop as I expected them to, though. I don't know if it was because she was a heel and because she was attacking Becky, but the crowd didn't seem to care that much. I'm just like, do y'all not know who this is? Do y'all not know that this is Mickie James? One of the best women to ever step foot in a WWE ring. Come on, man. Put some respect on her name. But, Mickie James is finally back in the WWE. She had a match at NXT TakeOver Toronto. It was rumored they were trying to sign her to be on, SmackDown or Raw. And now she's there. I'm excited. This is only going to help the women's division on SmackDown Live. Bring in a new storyline. Bring in somebody else who can, put on wonderful matches with these women. And she can still go. She can definitely still go based off of her match with Asuka. And I'm just so excited. Like, this is just incredible. More people are coming to the WWE. More people are coming back to the WWE. More people are coming up from NXT to the WWE. And this just can only spell more great things, more great matches, more great storylines, especially on SmackDown where they know how to book people. If Mickie James was on Raw, her and Alicia Fox would be in a storyline about Cedric Alexander or something. They would completely just waste Mickie James. But the fact that she's on SmackDown excites me, and I can't wait for her and Becky Lynch to start their storyline together. So, like I said, another excellent episode of SmackDown Live. Didn't have no complaints about it. Loved everything from the Nikki Bella and Natalya fight to the Randy Orton and Dean match to the AJ and Miz match, and even the main event. Of course, the main event, the steel cage match for the Women's Championship, and the debut of Mickie James. So, man, what more can you say about it? Like, SmackDown Live just knows what they're doing compared to Raw. They know exactly how to book things, how to not only produce things, but not overproduce it to the fact that you're just like, oh gosh, you guys are trying too hard. No, they're doing it just right. They're doing it the exact way that it needs to be. And I love it. I'm enjoying watching SmackDown ever since the brand split has been great. Raw has had a few good episodes, but for the most part, they're not memorable at all. I can't even really remember what happened on Raw last night. And I watched it all. I can't really remember for real. I just don't know how it's so hard for Raw, a 3-hour show, to do what SmackDown Live is doing. You have more time to do things. You have more time to develop storylines and to make things feel important. You even have time for matches so people can, show off their moveset. Like a Cesaro. Cesaro's doing great on Raw. But you just completely ruining people and ruining storylines and just giving up matches too early. And we keep seeing the same things over and over and over. Nothing's fresh. Nothing's new. People are going to get tired of it. It's going to get stale. And it's not going to be enjoyable. But with that being said, I enjoy SmackDown. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll talk to you guys later on. Peace.